Hello boys and girls, welcome to BenchART. I'm for Classic, and for today what I do have in here is ChernobyLite, a game developed by Farm51 and it is using Unreal Engine 4. So let me show you my favorite settings for this game. It is quite simple, it is just 1080p using the high preset. For me it is what it provides the best balance between graphics quality and performance, and if I feel in trouble with the frame rate I can enable AMD FSR with ultra quality. So let's jump with the results. These results were gathered during the benchmark tool. So ultra settings provides an experience above 60 with drops here and there. High settings provides an experience above 60 frames per second. It can drop, but it is much less with a much less extent. Median settings and low settings provides an average well above 100 frames per second, so no troubles whatsoever. But they also do use resolution scaling. 1440p median settings with 85% of resolution scaling provides an experience overall above 60, and the high and ultra settings provides an experience above 30 frames per second. Alright, so that's about it for the performance on the benchmark tool. During the game, it can be more or less demanding depending on the areas that you are playing, but overall, this is the core experience that you can expect. Alright, this is the results. And like I said, my favorite settings, it is 1080p high settings. AMD FSR when using at ultra settings. It is quite noticeable the difference in graphics quality, so I tend to avoid it anyway, but that's about it. So looking to the recommended requirements, these guys recommend a GTX 1060 or an AMD Radeon RX 570. This is for 60 frames per second high settings. The 1060 it is very close to the 1650 Super, so I should say that they are correct. High settings on the 6050 Super, it is really the setting you should go with this game. You can go with Ultra, but yeah, you can expect more drops in more vegetated area and stuff like that. So throughout this video, you will see me changing the FSR from Ultra quality to no for you to try to identify the visual differences as well the performance. But on the background, I will talk a little bit about the game because I think that the same as me, I was expecting ChernobyLite to be a different game than what really is, and this might be bad if you were expecting that this game was kind of a Stalker or Metro Exodus, because this is not really like that. ChernobyLite is no Stalker or even a Metro Exodus. It's not even close to it, and it's not really that objective. This is a story-driven game that brings a little bit of survival to the table and a lot of ideas mixed up. So let's start with the story first, shall we? Let's talk a little bit about ChernobyLite, what really is. Story is quite cliche, so basically you are a physicist called Igor, and you lost your wife Tatiana during the explosion of the reactor of Chernobyl. Years later, the zone now is crawled with agents and bandits, just like the Stalker. You can call them Stalkers if you want. Alright, it's full of them, and you think that your wife it is on the power plant, and you want to go there, but obviously you just can't go inside a power plant since it's fully defended, and you just can't take there with you many other guys to help you based on things that you hear in your head. So basically, during the gameplay of this game, you need to find proofs that she's really there in order to convince people to go there and rescue her. Alright? Well, that's the story. Although, yeah, this is one of the guys that will help you. It is the Olivier, and that's it. You will find other teammates during the playthrough, and each one have their own set of skills, and you can evolve them. Not Skyrim style where you pay gold for it. No, that's not like it. You need to trade them, and you need to feed them, and you need to have the best conditions as possible to them in order for them to evolve. So this is where the game starts to be kind of different from when you start to notice that the game it is no Stalker, because you get to this warehouse which will be your hub for everything, and you need to build it Fallout 4 style. So every time you go to the zone, you collect. I was about to say ingredients, but no. You're going to collect equipments and stuff and scope stuff that allows you to build stuff into the warehouse to improve, for example, air filters, to have TVs, to have stuff so that your teammates are fine with the hub that they have and they feel more comfortable and glad to help you out in your journey. Well, that's pretty much about it. So basically, what is ChernobyLite? ChernobyLite, it is a story-driven game. Not entirely driven though, but I think the story is the best thing about this game, despite it is super cliche. The way that it unfolds, it is special, and I will talk about that later. But above all, this game you will manage your team because you need to feed them, you need them to have the best conditions as possible. You need to manage your warehouse, and every day you need to go to the zone to collect ingredients or with a specific objective. So basically the gameplay loop, it is exactly like this. You are in your warehouse with two teammates, for example, and it is a start of a new day, and you can select, for example, 5 to 6 areas of the zone where you want to start. Each area, it is a little bit like a small chunk of Stalker map, and when you start the day, each chunk of the map have its own objectives, and you can say, for example, Olivier, you go to this zone and do this objective. Other guy go to the other zone and do such objective, and you can select the area of the zone and do specific objective, because it might be food, it might be materials, it might be ammo, it might be anything. So you do that specific objective. That is always secondary stuff for you to do too, and you finish what you are going to do there. You finish your main objective and you open a portal and you get back to the main hub, I mean the warehouse. So you feed your colleagues give you what they collect with the mission, you get what you collect with the mission, you evolve your comrades, you evolve your warehouse, and you go to bed, you start a new day, and the objectives change as well as the places of the zone. But basically, it is exactly like that. You start on the warehouse, you select where you want to go, the game loads that area, which is usually a chunk of the map. You complete that objective, you go back to the warehouse, you evolve with the things that you collect, go back to sleep, rinse, and repeat. So the game gets really repetitive because the objectives, they are not very diverse, you know. And this is one of the biggest flaws that I have with this game, is that it really gets repetitive. The enemies are very easy to kill. I played with the medium difficulty, probably with the maximum difficulty it does change, but it is super easy. The enemies this part, they are very well armed. They are a little bit dumb, and they don't have too much accuracy, as well as they have laser sight, so you can clearly see where they are pointing at. Makes the things even more easier. You know, the monsters are really very generic. There is some jump scares here and there, and every time you go to the zone, you can find traders, you can find evidences that Tatiana is at specific place or something, some evidence that will help you out with the objective, and the game, it is just about that. Now, talking about the story, I say that the story is special because this game, and this is the selling point in my opinion for this game. Alright, this game have tons of very important decisions, and this is decisions that will affect you throughout the game as well as the ending. It's not like Life is Strange, where you get to the end of the game, you have two different choices depending. You have the two different choices to choose from, and whatever you've done in the past, it doesn't affect the ending. No, ChernobyLite, all the decisions you take, they will have consequences, and they don't even display a warning there saying that your decision will have consequences in the future. No, sometimes you are making a decision, a very important one, without even you knowing that, and this is awesome. All right, and giving the supernatural thing and the paranormal activity that is going in this, just like Stalker, the ChernobyLite, which is a compound, a green compound that you pick up that enables you to create portals and go back in time, allows you sometimes to go back in time and change some answers and some decisions that you took, that you at some point you thought that they were the best for you and for the world, and then after a while you discover that, shit, probably it wasn't that. Probably I should take another decision. You can go back in time at some point, pay up with ChernobyLite, go back in time and change the story. and it is really well done, and I think the Farm 51 really nailed it. So when it comes to managing your own team, managing your warehouse, and the way that the story unfolds and change based on your decisions, and the decisions are really important, it really changes a lot. This is really the selling points of the game. When it comes to gameplay and gameplay, I mean exploring and stuff like that, I think these are the weakest parts, alright? So this game, it is completely opposite of Stalker, alright? This game nails the story that it brings, despite it is super cliche at the beginning. It really starts to unfold in a very decent one. The story, the decisions, the managing that you have in here, this is what makes this game great. Not the gameplay, not the exploring and the RPG stuff. The RPG stuff, it is really, it's generic. Everything, it is super generic. But when it comes to the rest, I think this game really nails it. So if you were hoping this game to be a Stalker or a Metro Exodus or any kind of that stuff, you will be super disappointed. Because this is not where the game it is good at. I think at some point the Farm 51 might wanted to do kind of a Stalker or a Metro Exodus, but they thought that they didn't add the resources, and they thought that it wasn't really interested, or it was just one more game like that, and they decided to create this, which is, despite it is not, you know, it doesn't nail all the things in the world inside the game, but it nails many stuff in this game. There is some interesting concepts in here. Most of them are not really new, but applied to the zone and the way that it is done, it is really great. Alright, so it's not a perfect game by any means. I was expecting better gameplay. I was expecting the game to be much less repetitive. I would love these guys to release updates and to add more diversity to the objectives that you do daily, so that the game couldn't be as much repetitive. If they do that, it would be awesome. But if they could solve that, if they could solve the artificial intelligence and every kind of that stuff, I'm assuming that's the medium difficulty, they are decent. I'm expecting that if I get the difficulty higher, probably it is more complicated to play, or probably it is more challenging. I don't know, I really hope so. But for now, I wasn't really impressed with the medium difficulty. Now that I'm seeing this, let me add, since you are a physicist, you are not kind of a soldier or a super stalker that you kill everyone. Every time you kill like a guy or something, your mental state can drop a little bit. So the lower it gets, they say that you can see visions and stuff like that. Your screen starts to go black all around, because you are going to get crazy a little bit. Also, your colleagues, you need to manage that too for them, because they can also get sanity levels very reduced, and so you need to take care of that, because if you send them to missions where they will kill, eventually their sanity levels will decrease too. So that's something that you need to manage to your teammates, alright? So I think that's all that I want to talk about ChernobyLite. Hope you keep enjoying the rest of the gameplay, and I do hope to see you soon. Goodbye.
Место! Оставь ее в покое!